What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on LeBron James milking this situation out for as much as he can with this. What team? What is it going to be? Miami? Is it going to be Cleveland or is it going to be Philly? This right here, I think is just a like this situation, this process that LeBron James is taking is basically exposing like this is the way LeBron James has done business. This is the way he does business now, and this is the way that he'll continue to do business even after his NBA days are over with, right? Now, as long as he is connected to the NBA, doing business like this hasn't really, I mean, he could do it and hasn't really hurt him. But I think moving forward, I think that this strategy right here is not going to really serve him well, right? Because the NBA is the reason why he's relevant. So if he's not in the NBA, he won't have this type of relevance. Just think about a player like Dennis Rodman, who, he did a lot of, Dennis Rodman was a guy that was off the hook, did a lot of, did some outrageous things. But once he left the NBA, like his relevancy just declined. And he still was the same. He did a lot of, he did a lot of things and still was the same person. And to this very day, he's somebody who is still, kind of odd and do some crazy stuff, but it's not as relevant because he's not connected to the NBA. And I think the same thing will happen for LeBron James. Like LeBron James and Clutch Sports, they'll try to do some things to keep themselves relevant, but what's really the relevance is because he's connected to the NBA, right? And so now I was listening to Scap Attack, and he brought up some points that I thought were very valid and interesting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the audio from his show, then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna give a reaction, and we'll take it from there.
Well, the NBA's biggest drama queen, LeBron James, continues to push his latest decision out and milk it for every millisecond of attention as is possible. Now that we have entered the third full week since Rich Paul informed the LA Lakers LeBron would not be returning for his record 24th NBA season. Though outside of that, Rich maintains that, quote, nobody knows nothing.
Nobody knows nothing. And I say that respectfully because we haven't made it to where anybody knows anything.
Yeah, I know Rich didn't clear high school, but that is a double negative. No shame, by the way, for not making it past high school, but if you're in a profession where 99.99% of the other people have actual law degrees, perhaps clean up the grammar, Rich.
And some people say, well, that's when Rich Paul wanted to, when they were talking about Rich Paul starting Clutch Sports Management, right? And it was a big deal. They were like, well, he don't have the credentials to start it. He don't have a college degree, right? And people say, well, some people say, well, that's racist. You say, well, he's not qualified. He don't have a degree, but it, no matter what the intent behind, what the intent was behind people making that statement, you are going to, if you are at a disadvantage because you lack the knowledge and you lack the experience going into a certain field, you have to level up. When people say, well, you don't have the training, then you have to acquire that training. You have to acquire that knowledge because you're going to be competing with people who have the training and people who have the knowledge, right? And so I just wanted to add that in there too, because it's very important, because that's how LeBron, like this is LeBron James' agent. And if his agent gets caught sleeping and he make a mistake in one of these contracts, or he say something that can potentially harm LeBron James or harm any one of his clients' legacy, or harm a deal that they got going on because he made a simple mistake, then it is what it is.
Anyway, Rich would also like us to believe that this isn't about the attention.
We're not making this about attention and a spectacle. It's not about a decision or anything like that. He has a choice to make. He has a business choice to make. We're not going to sit here and decide or allow someone else to decide when he makes that decision.
And does anyone seriously believe that this isn't about the spectacle, that his mind isn't already made up? How long realistically does LeBron need to make this all-important next decision? I mean, he's been thinking about it not just for the 3 weeks since they informed the Lakers he wouldn't be playing there next season. This was a decision, obviously, which has been percolating for several months. Things working behind the scenes, stuff happening throughout the regular season. We knew all roads more than likely leading to the fact that LeBron would not be returning to the Lakers. Therefore, it would be assumed that LeBron had been thinking about his next step, which is, where will I be playing? If it's not in a Laker jersey, then where? This is a guy.
All right. Also, when the Lakers did not extend LeBron last year, I'm sure as an agent, LeBron James, that they were thinking about, all right, so they had to come up with a game plan of like what's going to be our next move if they don't sign us, which they didn't sign LeBron James again, because they weren't going to try to give up that $50 million to LeBron James. So of course, LeBron James has known about this they have been planning for this for at least a year.
Who has made these calculated decisions at several stops throughout his NBA career. And yes, most people do not know anything about it aside from his very, very small inner circle. But that doesn't mean that small inner circle and LeBron do not already know where that next destination is going to be. Yes, but even if they do know, Rich Paul wants us all to understand that he and LeBron will not be rushed.
Can't rush it. Can't rush it.
So right now the league is aware of this, that he's not there yet,
and we're not gonna be rushed. It doesn't matter. I don't want to sit here and sound like this. I'll just say we're not going to be rushed.
Mm-hmm. That's totally fair for you to say.
It is his choice to make.
And look, the only thing viably that makes any sense to me at this point is that teams or the team that is trying to acquire LeBron James is still trying to figure out how they are going to bring Bronny James over from the LA Lakers. What exactly does that entail? Well, what kind of pieces are going to have to go out to the Lakers in order to facilitate that movement of Bronny to LeBron's new destination? But another potential impediment would be if that team that is trying to acquire Bronny and LeBron already basically has a full roster. That would mean that they have to get rid of one of their rotational pieces. So those things might be taking a little additional time, but that's fine. Just come out and say it.
Also, I think that LeBron James made the situation a little bit more complicated too. When LeBron James waited until after the Lakers had guaranteed Bronny his contract for this year, I think it was like $1.5 million. Because he wanted to make sure his son got paid. That complicated matters, right? Because just imagine if LeBron James had announced before Bronny separated from the team. I mean, before Bronny had got re-signed to the team or committed to by the team. Once they put that money on the books for the Lakers said, well, we need to get compensated for that. And so that now is a deal that they have to work out going into their next destination and their next contract. Whereas though if LeBron James had announced sooner, or the Lakers had announced sooner that, okay, we're not bringing LeBron back, we're not even going to sign Bronny. So now Bronny would have just been out there, and it'd have been a situation where nobody has to make a deal with the Lakers, because the Lakers can essentially, basically, they're going to be selling his contract to the next team, and they're not just going to give him. They might, but I seriously doubt it. They're just going to give him $1.5 million and say, all right, well, go ahead. You get this $1 million plus whatever you get going into the next team. So he just complicated the situation. And like I said, the way that LeBron James is doing business now and Clutch Sports Management, this is their business plan going forward. And so going forward, by this being their business plan, to try to stay relevant is going to be hard, because you have younger guys coming into the league that people want to see, that people want to get to know. So why would, like, LeBron James will be yesterday's news. No matter what he do in retirement, it's just going to be hard for him to top all the free advertising that the NBA has given him for the last 20 something years. I'm not hard. It's going to be impossible for him to match that, to stay as relevant as he was for the last 23, 24 years in the NBA. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'm going to check you all out in the next video. Peace.